Have you ever found yourself standing at the crossroads of life, staring back at the winding road you've traveled, and wondering, is there more to this journey? Maybe you've felt that subtle tug inside, a gentle but persistent question. What have I truly accomplished? What legacy will I leave behind? If you have, you're not alone. I'm here to tell you, as someone who's seen more than 6 decades come and go, that this feeling isn't just natural, it's a sign that you're still growing. Today, we're diving deep into one of life's most profound questions. How do we find meaning and fulfillment, especially as we grow older? How do we ensure that the years ahead are rich, not just in memories, but in purpose and joy? Let me take you back for a moment. Picture a young boy, maybe 7 or 8, perched on his grandfather's knee. The old man's hands are weathered, strong, and yet gentle as he tells stories, not just of his own childhood, but of hard work, love, loss, and laughter. Those stories linger for a lifetime, shaping the boy's understanding of what it means to live fully, to love deeply, to endure hardship, and to savor every fleeting moment. That boy was me. Decades later, I find myself in my grandfather's shoes, sharing my own stories, hoping that somewhere, someone will hear them, and perhaps find a spark of inspiration. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you've reached a point in your own story where the chapters ahead feel uncertain. Maybe you're approaching retirement, or perhaps you've already crossed that threshold. Maybe your children have grown and flown the nest, or maybe you're caring for a loved one, confronting health challenges, or simply reflecting on all that's come before. Wherever you are, I want you to know that your story is far from over. In fact, some of the richest, most meaningful pages may be waiting just around the corner. So let's talk about what it really means to find purpose and fulfillment as we age. Recent years have forced many of us to rethink what matters most. The world has changed rapidly, sometimes in ways that leave us feeling left behind or disconnected. Technology connects us to people across the globe, yet sometimes we feel more isolated than ever. The pace of change can be dizzying, but I believe that within these challenges lies an incredible opportunity, the chance to redefine what it means to truly live well, no matter our age. First, let's address the elephant in the room: retirement. For decades, we were told retirement was the finish line. Work hard, save diligently, and one day, you'll be free to do whatever you please. But when that day comes, many of us realize it's not as simple as it sounded. The structure of work, the sense of purpose it gave us, the camaraderie of colleagues, all of that vanishes overnight. What's left is a blank slate, and for many, that blankness can be both exhilarating and terrifying. Recent studies highlight a startling truth. Retirement, while often painted as a time of leisure and joy, can also trigger feelings of loss, depression, and isolation. According to the American Psychological Association, nearly 1 in 3 retirees report struggling with a sense of identity after leaving the workforce. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. In fact, this transition can be the catalyst for a deeply fulfilling new chapter, if we approach it with intention. So how do we find that sense of purpose? The answer, I've found, lies in 3 key areas: connection, contribution, and curiosity. Let's start with connection. Human beings are wired for relationship. No matter how independent we may be, we need others: friends, family, community. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest-running studies of its kind, found that close relationships, more than money, fame, or even health, are what keep people happy throughout their lives. Not just the number of friends, but the quality of our connections. As we age, it becomes even more essential to cultivate and cherish these bonds. This could mean reaching out to old friends, investing time in family, or finding new circles through volunteering, clubs, or religious communities. In recent years, technology has opened doors for connection that didn't exist before. Virtual book clubs, online classes, and social media groups can be lifelines, bridges to people who share our passions, values, and sense of humor. But connection alone isn't enough. We also need to contribute. There is something deeply human about wanting to make a difference, no matter how small. Maybe you spent decades building a career, raising a family, serving your community. Those acts of service don't have to end with retirement. In fact, they can take on new meaning. According to the Corporation for National and Community Service, older Americans who volunteer report lower rates of depression and higher levels of life satisfaction. Whether it's mentoring a young person, teaching a skill, lending a hand at a local food bank, or simply being a steady presence for a neighbor in need, every act of contribution matters. It's not about grand gestures. It's about showing up, again and again, with an open heart. And then there's curiosity. This, to me, is the secret ingredient. When we stop learning, we stop growing. The world is full of wonders, books we haven't read, places we haven't seen, skills we haven't mastered. In the last few years, I've seen friends in their 70s and 80s learn to paint, play instruments, speak new languages, and even start businesses. The internet has made lifelong learning more accessible than ever. Don't be afraid to be a beginner. Embrace the awkwardness, the humility, the thrill of discovery. Each day offers a chance to learn something new, to see the world with fresh eyes. Of course, all of this is easier said than done. There will be days when loneliness creeps in, when health challenges feel overwhelming, when the news of the world weighs heavily on your spirit. But I promise you, these moments do not define you. You are more resilient than you know. The wisdom you've gained, the battles you've fought, the love you've given, these are treasures that no one can take away. Now, let's talk practically. How do you begin to build a life that's rich in connection, contribution, and curiosity? Here are a few ideas, grounded in both research and my own lived experience. First, take stock of your relationships. Who are the people who lift you up? Who makes you laugh? Who really listens? Invest in those relationships. Call an old friend, write a letter, invite someone for coffee. If you're feeling isolated, consider joining a group that shares your interests, whether that's gardening, hiking, photography, or something else entirely. Second, find ways to give back. Start small. Maybe it's helping a neighbor with groceries, volunteering at a local school, or sharing your expertise with a nonprofit. Many communities have organizations specifically designed to match older adults with meaningful volunteer opportunities. Giving back doesn't just help others. It gives your own life a renewed sense of meaning. Third, feed your curiosity. Make a list of things you've always wanted to learn or try. Sign up for an online class, visit a museum, read a new book, or take up a hobby you set aside years ago. Challenge yourself to do one new thing each month. You'll be surprised at how energizing it can be. And finally, take care of your health. This may sound obvious, but it's the foundation on which everything else is built. Recent advances in medicine and wellness have made it possible to live longer, healthier lives than any generation before us. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and mental health practices like meditation or mindfulness can make a world of difference. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Whether that means seeing a doctor, talking to a therapist, or reaching out to a support group. If you're thinking, that all sounds good, but it's too late for me, let me stop you right there. It is never too late. I've met men and women who found their greatest joy and purpose in their 70s, 80s, even their 90s. The secret is simple. Stay open to possibility. Remember that the best chapters of your story might still be unwritten. Let me share a story that's close to my heart. A friend of mine, Bill, retired at 67. For the first year, he struggled. He missed his routine, his coworkers, the sense of accomplishment that came from a job well done. He felt adrift, unsure of what came next. One day, he saw an ad for a community garden looking for volunteers. Bill had never grown a tomato in his life, but he decided to give it a try. That simple act changed everything. He found himself surrounded by people of all ages, swapping stories over rows of green beans and sunflowers. He learned, he taught, he laughed. Bill discovered that his value didn't end with his career. It evolved. Today, he's not only a skilled gardener, but a mentor, a friend, and a source of inspiration for everyone who knows him. Maybe your garden looks different. Maybe it's music, art, travel, or simply being present for your grandchildren. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to step into it. The world needs your gifts, your wisdom, your stories. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Life isn't measured by the number of years we accumulate, but by the richness of the moments we create, the connections we nurture, and the love we give. Every sunrise is a new invitation, a chance to write another page, to reach out, to give back, to learn, to grow. Don't let anyone tell you that your best days are behind you. They might just be waiting ahead, ready to surprise you. If this message has resonated with you, if you've felt that spark of hope, that nudge to try something new, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe right now so you never miss another chance for inspiration. Leave a comment below and share your own story. What's one thing you're excited to try, or one lesson you've learned along the road? Most importantly, share this video with a friend who might need a little encouragement today. You never know whose life you might touch just by spreading a message of hope. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. No matter where you are or what you've been through, there is always room for more joy, more meaning, more love. The next chapter is yours to write. Make it a great one.